I got paid $80,000 to go to college. It's extremely crazy to think about considering people who are watching this video know or probably are going through the experience of having to pay an insane amount of money just to go to a 4-year university. I got pretty lucky to be in the position I was. My parents are not rich. $80,000 is more than the joint income of both my parents combined. So going to a top 15 computer science university was going to be an extremely hard financial thing to accomplish for my family. Now, I wish I was paid $80,000 to go to college and I was one of those C or D students who managed to get a high B, and as a result my rich parents were like, we will pay you to go to college and continue learning. We want you to learn. No, education was both a necessity and privilege all at once. Now, to address the elephant in the room, yes, this is a Rolex. No, I did not use the $8,000 I got to go to college to buy it. That's something that we will talk about later in the video. But first things first, the cost of college is ridiculous. All right, the fact that people have to take student loans out and basically still have to pay them out for like 10, 20 years after they graduate is absolutely insane. My teachers are still paying off their student loans to this day. I remember elementary school, middle school, and high school, they would always talk about, stressing over student loans and having to still pay and to never take a loan and to avoid it as much as possible. And that's why we need to get that super SAT score, right? You see, the college I attended was a top 15 computer science university and still is. And to get tuition and to pay tuition and board for in-state was $23,000 every single year, and for out-of-state it was $40,000. So in-state is expensive enough, and now if you're coming from out-of-state to that college, you must be rich, because there's absolutely no way I can see anyone paying that amount of money unless, like I said, your parents are earning maybe over 6 figures every single year. With all this being considered, I knew that we could not pay $23,000 every single year, and a loan was just a no-no in my family. We hated loans. We always did. The only loan we ever took was a house loan because we had to. But the idea of having a loan and having to pay that after college was just like a nightmare, because you don't want to be in debt as a child of an immigrant, because chances are your parents are probably already in debt. So exactly what does it mean to get $80,000 to go to college? That's a real elephant in the room. No, FAFSA did not cover it. I wish FAFSA would just throw $80,000 at me. It was actually funny because my sister went to Stanford University, so she was obviously the smart one in the family, but we definitely couldn't afford Stanford. I think it was like $60,000 at the time every single year, because that's in Cali. We're from Maryland, so that was just insane amount of money we'd have to pay. But Stanford is rich enough because of all the donors it gets that it was willing to pay like 99% of any person's like college tuition if their parents' joint income was under $125,000 every single year. Ours was under like $80,000, so we definitely made the cut. And the remaining amount of money that we would had to pay, FAFSA covered. So my sister ideally was able to go to Stanford for free, which was an insane, amazing thing that happened. Now, what University of Maryland does provide is a scholarship for in-state only early action appliers. That scholarship is called a Banneker Key Scholarship, and it is a full ride to the university. You have to have amazing stats in high school and ace the interview rounds to actually get it. And I was able to get it. I actually somehow managed to pull through. I had somewhat cool stats in high school that I will talk about a little more in depth. And I managed to connect with my interviewer on anime. Actually, we both love this anime called Naruto. And the moment I told him about my love for Naruto, he knew that he talked about his love for Naruto, and I already knew that this was gonna be a interview that was gonna be 5 out of 5. I was gonna leave a lasting impression, and I did. As a result, I did manage to get the scholarship. And what they do is they do pay your entire tuition and board, but I also got FAFSA on top of that. So I was able to have leftover money every single semester. Now, this leftover money wasn't anything small. It was about like 2.2K every single semester that it was free. Like I could just spend it however I wanted to, which again was pretty crazy. And I didn't use this money to, go buy the fanciest clothes, go buy fancy watches, go, buy them myself. In fact, I used it to start businesses. Like in college, I would try to start some cool side hustles that I could make more money with. So this money that I was, being given from my college to go to school, essentially, I decided to use it for a better, higher purpose. I started creating educational videos on YouTube on this channel that I think now sits at 8,000 subscribers, that I barely post on now, but I use it to invest in camera equipment, lighting equipment, audio, and I started creating videos right out of my dorm. And before I knew it, this channel was bringing in about like $10,000 a month at a certain point. Knowing my background and my family's background, I think by the end of my freshman year of college, I was making more than my parents, which, helped a lot for paying college if I had to pay it. So I guess it all worked out eventually, but I wouldn't have even had that freedom, that mental like free space in my head if I had this, dooming like thought of, oh my God, how am I going to pay this loan off after I graduate? Or I have to make money in college. I have to work in college, because there's students who have to work while taking college classes. And, that defeats their ability to have a good social life. And I was able to have a good social life because this cost of college wasn't there for me. Like I said, I was getting paid to go to college almost. So the students who have to work a job just to pay for, their student loans, that's like, it really does suck. And like something has to happen about this, because there's no reason so many kids are still suffering from student loans to this day, right? Like there has to be some sort of like better program out there. So exactly how can you secure like this financial reward for the students who maybe are in high school right now, or even in middle school, or the parents watching this who want their son or daughter to go to a top university and not have to, give the arm a leg for it? The first thing is you got to have stellar stats. That's a no-brainer. Now, by no means am I a stand-up student. I was kicked out of every single honor society my senior year of high school. I remember going to my high school classroom, like my first period, and I went to my desk and I saw a letter from my National Spanish Honor Society, and it said, "You have been terminated and kicked out." And I was like, wow. And then like 2 days later, I kicked out the National Honor Society, and I was like, this is crazy. And I actually ended up, becoming valedictorian for my class. And I was the only valedictorian, I think, in history of valedictorians at that high school that didn't have a tassel around his neck, because I was kicked out of every club. And you guys will be wondering, what on earth did you do to kick out every club? I simply just didn't go to the clubs. I instead used my time after school to spend with my partner at the time. But while I was kicked out of societies, I still had a very high SAT score. I got like a 1540 with 800 math. I kept a 3.96 GPA up to graduation. I think like my last semester of high school, it went to like a 3.89 maybe, right? But I had a 4.0 for my first 3 years of high school. And then after I applied to colleges, I kind of just, stopped caring. So my GPA slipped a little bit, but I was still able to maintain that class rank 1. And by no means am I like a genius or anything like that. But I remember there was one quote I heard when I was really young, that was from Einstein. It was like, it's not that I'm smart, it's that I stay with the problem longer. And that's like the quote I really want everyone watching this to go by, because no one is like super smart, right? Obviously there's some geniuses out there, but it's really about how long are you still sticking with the problem that you're given. Not everyone can be a genius. Not everyone can be Batman. So there's people like me who have to find another way to be smart. And that's simply just looking at the problem and not deciding to shy away from it, right? The people who actually stay with the problem and stick with it and try to find as many ways as possible to solve the problem, whether it be math, reading, whatever it is, right? SAT, MCAT, LSAT, wherever you are in your academic career. Those are people who actually make it and end up getting scholarships and like big grants and like top awards, Nobel Prizes, and go on to do amazing things. It's really just staying with the problem longer. And that's what I realized. I remember my AP Calc exam. There were problems that really stumped me, but I just kept looking at it and kept reading the same words over and over again and was hoping that something clicked. And it would click literally every time. And that's how I was able to get a 5 on most of my AP exams, let alone like the English ones. I think I got like a 3 on one of them. I got a 3 on my physics exam, but who cares about English, right? And while my stellar stats were stellar and they helped me get to the interview round for my prestigious scholarship, it didn't, take me all the way to the end. I had to basically riz my interviewer up. And like I said, we were connecting on a field that wasn't academic. It was more personal, right? It was like our love for a certain anime for those who watch it. And being able to connect with your interviewer on like a human being level and treating it as a conversation with just like a peer is really how you ace your interviews. So not only must you ace your classes, you got to ace your interviews. And these are skills that you will hopefully pick up while you are going through your academic career, or maybe after you watch this video. Because being able to talk to people well is not only going to help you in school, in relationships, it's going to help you in life, right? It's going to help you be able to grow your career. I'm currently a corporate software engineer, and I found that being able to talk to other engineers in a respectful, knowledgeable way has helped me excel my career faster than your average engineer who's in the same field, same company, same like overall educational experience. Of course, being broke helps. Now, I don't know if my scholarship was because I was broke, and I don't know if they're going to give it to like the richest person in the world, right? Even if they have the same stats. I think financial background does play a part of it. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and think that it was all because of my brain or all because of my riz or the way I was able to talk. It was probably because of my background as well. So I guess being of lower middle class did play a role in all of this, and I'm thankful for it. Without it, I would probably be having one arm and one leg because I would have to pay my student loans off. The biggest takeaway from all this is that the $80,000, I took it as like a side income. Yes, it's paying for my college, the bulk of it, but the extra money, I didn't just let it sit. I didn't splurge it in a way where it would just go away, right? Because yes, while my college is paid for, if I did splurge that money, you know, I might have nicer clothes now or whatever. After college, then I'm in the same boat as everyone else, as everyone who paid for college, everyone who like worked and, you know, paid for their college classes. Like, what was the benefit of me getting a bunch of money to go to college? Like, what did I do with it? How am I different than anyone else who's going through the regular college system? After getting the system, I was able to live off of campus my junior and senior year, and as a result, I was given $7.2K every single semester to spend. Now, obviously, I had to pay rent, so some of the money was eaten up, but I still had about like 3.3K left every single semester. So my 2.2K just times itself by 1.5. And now, as a result, I had more money to spend or splurge, as most students would, on like parties and, you know, apple juice. And I'm not saying I didn't, but I also decided to invest in myself, use that money to make more money. That's something that everyone has to realize, right? College is 4 years of your life that, yes, it's great, it's amazing, it's fun, but these opportunities you're given, you're presented, whether it be the financial opportunities, the career opportunities, the relationship opportunities, the people opportunities, you got to make the most of it, right? You can't, otherwise, if you're not making the most of your opportunities you're given, you're just like any other regular person who's just living their life, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're given an opportunity and you don't take it, what separates you from someone who was never given the opportunity in the first place? Yes, I was blessed enough to get this huge financial opportunity, which was like getting paid to go to college, but I used that opportunity to make a bunch of more opportunities that have now, you know, helped me so much in life. And the funniest thing when I think about everything that has transpired, you know, my years of college and everything around it, all the opportunities, all of that, is that everyone talks about gaming the system. But gaming American education, it's different.